the preservative is for anything. It doesn't matter. We're going, which Yahoo boys, who gives a shit? They're scamming people. That I just find out that Nick is plotting something. I don't know. Watch out. That's all I gotta say. But we're gonna talk about a woman who lost 120,000 pounds in a romance scam. Linda Young had recently divorced her husband of 24 years, good woman, because her children had already graduated and moved out of the house. She found herself lonely and in need of a new relationship. The birds are out of the nest, and now she's in this place where she has a lot of free time. She's looking for a new love. Who hasn't been there? This led to her joining a dating site for people over 50, where she met a charming and attractive man. They were talking all the time, whether it be over email, text, or even phone calls. So she was starting it off on Gmail, and then she's texting, and now she's even calling. And see, that's how they get you too, is they're like, well, call me. That's how you know it's a real person. You know, well, I mean, like in a way you're like, oh, this is a scam, but then you call, hey, I'm real.
I do that. I'm so paranoid of it. I said, you want to get on FaceTime?
To the new people you're dating?
I do.
This is a very revealing video. I mean, this is about internet scams, and this is, you're blossoming like a little flower right now. In an article from the BBC, she recounts her feelings, and it goes as follows.
I just couldn't stop the adrenaline rush. It was addictive. Every time my phone buzzed or a text came through from him, me whole world just lit up.
Okay, she sounds beautiful. After 6 months, she was completely obsessed with this man. This ended up clouding her judgment when he eventually asked for a large sum of money to invest for both of them. She was promised that this money would come back to her since they were going to undoubtedly have a future together. See, this is the long con. 6 months too. That's not a fucking, little weekend thing. This guy's been putting the time in. You know, people are doing that too. They have to be doing it to like 20 different people. And it's like things that are just,
They're on their phone. They have 12 phones.
Yeah, a bunch of different numbers. And yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, she decided to go for it, transferring 120,000 pounds to the man only to be ghosted and abandoned completely. That's very sad. Linda admitted,
It took me a long time to work through the shame.
what a sad way to end that. When you go through one of those scams, do you think that you would ever want to go through like an online dating website again?
Well, I said that, and I still use online dating.
Well, to be fair, you never got online scammed. You just asked for like a mystery chemical to put onto something to scam people. Oh, I want to see something.
Hello?
Hello, mother.
How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing a video on internet scams right now, and I was wondering, can you talk to me about that guy at all?
Oh, God, yes. Well, it was on a first free dating website, but it just started out as a friendly thing, just somebody like online to talk to, and they suck you in. And when you're looking back, it was kind of like a romance novel kind of talk, like women like, but it's not a normal conversation per se. But just all these nice little innuendos and things, and then just goes into what he does for a living. And then it was always some kind of like looking into it, some kind of oil rig. You're in another country. You're working for the military. It's secret kind of vibe. And
How serious?
They're making tons of money, probably tons of money, but it's very secretive. It's very, and he's always widowed. Unfortunate mishap of the spouse.
How long did this go on for?
Ugh.
The girl who was scammed out of 120,000, it was 6 months.
No, this probably was like 9. Maybe.
Wow. So
Maybe.
was it pretty serious? Like, did you like?
Well, for a long time it wasn't. And then it just seemed like for like 6 months, it was just talking all the time, of course, because, but then he started talking about meeting and stuff like that. And there'd always be something going on. And I remember showing your pictures and, me not having a clue. You're like, wow, that's not real. And I was like, you were nice about it, but you're like, look at this picture. And I had no idea. I'm like, what? And you're like, just check it out.
Be honest, mother, did he get some pictures out of you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Unfortunate. Well, you have any advice for people that are online dating?
Yes, I do. Immediately get offline and try to meet people while you're out and about. Well, that's easier said than done. No.
All right. This is turning into a very bitter. This is turning into a bitter thing. I love you. I'm gonna go.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Night. Old girl got sent pussy and titty pics to the guy. It's f***ed up too. Is like the ultimate goal is money, whatever. But that's just like a cherry on top for him. It's like a power trip thing too. It's f***ed up. Anyways, let's talk about a Stranger Things fan thinks she's dating one of the actors from the show. I guess with AI and stuff, you can count some of these things, but also I think Finn Wolfhard's dating you. You know what I mean? Really? Anyways, in 2023, a mother I mean, already. What are we? Come on, really? A mother from Kentucky named Michaela. Is that really how you spell it too? There's some like white trash Michaela stuff right there. Good Lord, girl. Michaela was going through a rocky relationship with her husband. Feeling lonely, she decided to join a forum for online artists in order to start meeting new people in the filmmaking community. It was there she met Docker Montgomery, an actor from his role as Billy Hargrove from Stranger Things series. She thought that she was dating Billy. Isn't he like supposed to be the hottest guy from the show? Will's the hottest? Oh, I don't know. How delusional can you be? They hit it off right away. Oh, did they? Yeah, the guy who's an LA filmmaker is in a weird indie Kentucky filmmaking group. They hit it off right away, sending each other romantic messages and expressing their deep love for each other. Michaela was absolutely obsessed, so we're talking sexting like immediately.
She was sending pictures of her wet fingers.
God damn, dude. Rough episode for you so far. The actor told her to decide between her husband or him. Whoa! Michaela divorced her husband without hesitation to show that she was serious. Oh, Michaela, you stupid person. It was a rocky relationship, sure, but it's also just like, she had to have told the guy that it's like, yeah, Billy from Stranger Things is dating me. The husband's just like, what the f are you even on about? What's coming out of your gob? She recalls Montgomery expressing frustrations about his relationship with Liv Pollock, who was supposedly giving him money problems by taking control of his banking information. Yeah, so he's saying that Billy, the actor that's playing Billy, it's like, my girlfriend's f***ing up my bank. I can't even get into my bank account. Michaela, who was also dealing with a controlling ex-husband, could relate. This brought them even closer. The actor would slowly start asking for money through gift card exchanges and cryptocurrency, which Michaela regretfully indulged in. Over time, she has sent to him over $10,000 of Google Play gift cards and Doge. She eventually began to realize that this was too good to be true, ending things with her supposed lover after spending a fortune on him. I'm not saying that people can't find love. You're a person, you find out you'd start dating an actor because they like your TikToks or something. I don't fucking know. Anything is possible. If you start dating John Goodman, and John Goodman's asking, 87-year-old John Goodman is asking you for cryptocurrency and gift cards, Google Play gift cards, I would assume that's a scam. Be careful out there. But we get to move into the world of AI scams. AI, the crazy new thing, very, very scary. What's real, what's not real anymore? I don't fucking know. We're all gonna burn in hell. People are able to take voice recordings of you or other people and implement scams themselves. That AI learning technology, it's very believable. It's pretty fucking scary. But here's a little post. So yesterday I got a call from my grandparents who asked me if I was okay.
Yeah, what do you want?
Confused, I said, of course I was. After some confusion, it turns out they got a call from an AI that used my voice to say I was in a car accident and needed money for the hospital, and also not to tell my parents.
I ain't got time for that shit.
That's so fucked. That's so creepy, too. So invasive.
You know how they do that? If you ever get a phone call and it's a lot of times if it's like silent,
I started blocking those.
yeah, because if you're like hello, or if you get weird calls and they're asking you specific things, because what they're trying to do is train your voice off the phone call.
I mean, I feel like everybody gets like toll-free bullshit, like, oh, have you done this, blah, 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 and you're like, fuck off, and you hang up. Which we get to talk about AI Brad Pitt scamming a poor French woman. Oui. This year, a French woman named Anne lost 830,000 euros by a scammer pretending to be Brad Pitt. In response, she endured a giant wave of harassment and mockery. It's sad. It's dumb, but it's sad. Anne, who was married at the time, was contacted via Instagram by someone posing as Brad Pitt. Because Anne was new to social media, she was gullible and ended up chatting with him for a while. With old people, I feel like all you have to do, once again, it's not like I'm promoting this kind of shit, but I feel like all you have to do with old people is just be like, you see the name, you see the picture, and you're like, that's them. How else would someone say that they're Brad Pitt? They have a picture of him, they have his name on an account.
Nowadays, there's even apps that will project your video live. So you could be like, hey, do a video call. And voice modulate and face modulate.
Hey, I'm Brad Pitt. All right. He's like, hey, I thought that was Matthew McConaughey. He's like, yeah. The actor started asking for money in order to pay customs for the luxury gift he wanted to send her. I got you gifts, but you gotta pay for them. He would make up stories about how his bank accounts were frozen as a result of his divorce proceedings with Angelina Jolie. That's how you get those old women too, dude. Yeah, Angelina Jolie, that bitch, gone in 60 seconds, my ass. And would pay the money every time, and the scammer started to realize that he could easily squeeze more and more money out of her. Eventually, he fooled her into paying 775,000 euros to pay for kidney cancer treatment. To sell the lie, he sent AI-generated images of Brad Pitt in the hospital and believed they were real because there was no traces of these photos online, meaning they must have been taken just for her. So sad, dude. She herself was in cancer remission. Oh my God. So she felt sympathy for the poor actor. I feel like the floor from anything just dropped, you know what I mean? Like that gut feeling. Well, during this time, Anne got a divorce with her husband, which I wonder this too. I'm just speculating because now I'm too sympathetic towards Anne. Going through cancer remission and kind of living your life, you're sitting there and you're just like, I don't even know if I'm happy in this marriage. You know, like it's just you're willing to take these risks now and you're easy to be swayed in these different directions. It's one of those things where it's like finally a piece of good luck comes my way. Brad Pitt or Billy from Stranger Things, which you would think, what the f are you thinking? But her daughter at the time had spent an entire year trying to convince her that this was all a hoax, but to no avail. She even had somebody being like, Mom, it's not Brad Pitt. I'm telling you that right now. To keep up the lie, the scammers crafted an AI-generated news report discussing the exclusive relationship Brad Pitt had with a woman named Anne. This eased her suspicions until she saw the news that Brad and MS Dave Ramon entered a public relationship in 2024. You said you loved me. She ended things with the supposed actor and stated that the whole ordeal put her in a very dark place. She attempted to take her own life 3 times. Crushed after realizing that she sent a majority of her savings to a scammer. No shit, dude. There's no way to get justice on these people either. So all these stories are just going to end with it's just like, I guess that's what it is. If you get a call from somebody that's like, hey, this is me, Canyon. I need money or whatever, it's real. I'm the one calling. No, seriously, the Patreon is open and I do need the help. We just need more puppets and we're setting up a new little space for more sets right now. So maybe consider supporting. It's not a scam. I know I'm smiling, but I'm just nervous now because it doesn't matter. Oh, we could talk about another man who was scammed out of $25,000 by an AI voice. Anthony, an older man from Los Angeles, was conned out of $25,000 after being targeted by AI scammers. He received a phone call from a person that sounded exactly like his son. The scammer used an AI voice to lie about being in a car accident with a pregnant woman who was rushed to the hospital. Who's pregnant? That would be an emotional call, dude. I'm gonna be a granddad? Wait, what? He then received a call from a supposed lawyer named Michael Roberts telling him, you need to get $9,200 as fast as you can if you want your son out of jail. Otherwise, he's in for 45 days. Scammers often ask for money with a sense of urgency to pressure victims into sending money without taking time to think of how suspicious the situation is. They want it now. It's got to be now, or you're going to get in big trouble. Your son's in big trouble and your pregnant wife, she's really pregnant. She's about to pop at any time and he doesn't even know where she's at anymore, dude. You got to get him out of jail. After rushing to the bank to retrieve the money, they call Michael Roberts back and Uber was sent to their house to pick up the cash. An Uber, only for them to receive another call immediately. Apparently, the pregnant woman died, raising the bail up astronomically. In a panic, they gathered more money and gave it to another Uber driver that showed up to retrieve it. Dude, I would never hand an Uber driver any amount of cash. I'd be like, you don't have a car? Hello? What? It was only when her daughter started trying to look up information about the supposed court case that they realized it was a scam. And once again, money's gone, he got. Or we could talk about a woman who thought that Elon Musk was calling her to pitch her an idea for an investment. That'd be a horrible call, wouldn't it? Elon calling me? Even the real thing, I'd be like, I would too, you invest. God, dude, really, Elon? A recent type of scam has resulted in billions of dollars being stolen by scammers.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to tell you about the Neuralink crypto token, the new cryptocurrency that will change the world forever.
By using AI, people have started creating fake advertisements where Elon Musk proposes an investment opportunity. 62-year-old Heidi Swan, one of the victims, recounts her experience seeing the ad on Facebook and TikTok. And in the ad, an AI voice of Elon Musk was used to sell this lie. This resulted in her spending $10,000 in cryptocurrency and sending it over only to get ghosted and left confused as to what happened. Or a man who was tricked out of $25 million from deepfake CEO. Who are these people? Is this fucking Warren Buffett? My God. In an especially absurd case of AI fraud, a finance worker from Hong Kong was conned out of $25 million. A Hong Kong millionaire, probably billionaire. In 2024, a multinational firm was targeted by AI scammers who had entered a call with a deepfake version of the company's chief financial officer. So they were able to get the fucking CFO's voice. That's crazy. In the call, there were several other employees there who were also defaked to sell the scene of a big company Zoom meeting. That's fucking like some Ocean's 11 shit. The guy ended up sending about $25.6 million USD to multiple bank accounts as instructed by the supposed bosses. That's insane. That isn't just a guy scamming someone being like, I'm Billy from Stranger Things. This is like an actual heist. We've given you a lot of scams today, right? So in this video, I at least want to take time to talk about common scam tactics or red flags that you should look for and that I'm going to even keep in mind moving forward in the future. So it isn't uncommon for a scammer to call you and say something and say nothing. Welcome back to the Papa Me channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come in and sit on down because today we're talking about internet stories. You know, I have a podcast called Creepcast where we go over creepypastas, and this is one thing that affects our story today. And I just want to say viewer discretion is advised because today we're going into true crime meat. No, it's serious. Real court. It's a real case. It's fucked up. And it's messed up because the internet is it's a place for silly memes and jokes and funny stories. And sometimes these stories are called creepypastas. And what are creepypastas? Well, they're like scary stories that usually edgy 12-year-olds write to kind of shock each other. That was kind of a big thing in the 2010s. And it was harmless fun. It really is. It's harmless fun. It's stupid stories. However, in the hands of one troubled child, it was the catalyst for one of the most brutal murders in recent history. Which we've done videos about something similar before with the Slender Man stabbings in 2014, where two 12-year-old girls, Morgan Geyser and Nessa Weir, brought one of their friends to the woods and stabbed her 19 times. Casual stuff. Normal. Just another day in the park. They claimed it was to appease Slender Man. The fictional character they believed was real. The internet's obsession with a character. It's like a new age tale of like the Amityville murders. An angel told me to do it. The devil whispered in my ear, told me to do it. Slender Man told me to do it. It's kind of an interesting evolution, isn't it? So today we're going to talk about the horrible case of Donovan Nicholas, who was inspired by the infamous creepypasta Jeff the Killer. The 14-year-old child successfully carried out a plan to stab his mother 63 times. So let's take a look. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Let's take a look into the Jeff the Killer homicide. My God. Jeff the Killer squared.
My name is Jeff.
But for people who don't know, who don't understand the reaction to this, maybe you don't know who Jeff the Killer is, which before I read the story, I didn't know how infamous he was. You've maybe seen this picture. You maybe have seen it. It's pretty famous. It's in terms of like meme culture, everything. This has been around for a long time, but people might not know the story wrapped around it. Obviously, we're not going to read the whole story, but I at least want to give you an understanding of what the story is. A little beat for beat. Let's just see what happens. Which Jeff the Killer is an old creepypasta entry that came out around 2011, right? I mean, like that's like the birth of creepypasta era. We did a video on Creepcast about it, and if you want to hear the whole story, you can go there if you actually want the entire story in all of its perfection. Also, maybe listen to it on Spotify. I don't know. But here's a quick summary. The story revolves around Jeffrey Woods, a 13-year-old boy who moves into a neighborhood with his mother, his father, and brother, Lou. Anytime you see a character is like, I'm 13, I just moved here, you definitely know the author is 13 years old. That's a rule of creepypasta. Or it's maybe even like an 11-year-old who's like, man, when I'm 13, I'm going to be a grown-up. While waiting for the school bus, the two of them get into a brutal fight with a group of bullies. Jeff goes berserk, and he takes down all three of them and stabbing two of them in the process. Yeah.
Hardcore.
It is hardcore. After fleeing the scene, police officers appear at the doorsteps to question them. And in the end, his brother Lou takes the blame and ends up being sent to juvie. James, why would you let Lou do that? And days go by, depressed and lonely. Jeff is urged by his mother to go to a birthday party for their neighbor Billy. And during the party, Jeff is jumped by the same bullies from before, where he is beaten half to death. Eventually, Jeff snaps. He beats one of the bullies to death and bludgeons another with a towel rack. And in the process, Jeff is covered in alcohol and bleach before being lit on fire by the remaining bully. Lou is released from juvie after the bullies confess to initiating the first assault, just in time to see Jeff in the hospital as his bandages are getting removed. Once removed, it's revealed that Jeff's face is leathery and pale white, his hair is singed black, and his lips are bright red. It's at this point that Jeff snaps, laughing uncontrollably. He thought his new face was perfect. That night, his mother enters the bathroom to see Jeff carving a smile into his cheeks, claiming he wanted to keep smiling when his face got tired. He also burned out his eyelids so he could forever look at his new face. His mother wakes up their dad, telling him to get the gun. Jeff overhears this and guts them both with a kitchen knife. The story ends with Jeff entering Lou's room, holding a knife and telling him just to go to sleep. And that's the story of Jeff the Killer. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but that's pretty much it. You get a little bit of the Joker in there, you know, very why so serious code. It's cool. It's one of those things, Jeff the Killer, it's out of date, it's cringe. At the same time, it's internet history at this point, right? I don't think we know who wrote the story. Editor, is there something like that? If so, I want to get in contact with you, seriously. If you're out there, there's some stuff I want to talk to you about, for real. And this story, this epic piece of internet culture was enough to inspire 14-year-old Donovan Nicholas to stab his mother to death in excess. It's insane. It's insane what people gravitate towards. And here's the thing too, I want to get into this before we get too far into the video, because like I said, this is a serious matter. I'm not going to be joking about all that. This is real shit that's happening. This is an obviously mentally disturbed person. I don't want people going into this thinking that like, you know, it's like the whole thing like GTA makes people dangerous. I don't believe that. I think mentally ill people latch onto anything. If it wasn't this, it would have been something else.
He could have read a comic book about
He
Jeff
could
the
have
Killer.
read a fucking comic book about something. Exactly. So I just want to say mentally ill people will latch on and do if it wasn't this, it would have been something else. If you're mentally ill and you're reading comics, talk to a therapist. I don't know what to tell you.
If you're mentally ill, stay away from creepypastas.
Hey, if you're mentally ill, don't unlock the beast with creepypastas. Okay, whatever. Let's talk about Donovan Nicholas a little bit, his early life. Donovan Nicholas grew up in a farm country in Ohio. He was a quiet kid, but intelligent nonetheless. He had been dealing with loneliness and depression from a young age, encountering feelings of worthlessness, and grew older. According to one of many doctors that evaluated him, he, quote, reported feeling isolated and separated from those around him for several years. By 6th grade, these feelings had escalated to the point where he was having thoughts and engaging in self-harm. He told the doctors that there was no support when it came to finding medical treatment, so he tried to tough it out on his own. Donovan had been living with his father, Shane Nicholas, and his 40-year-old girlfriend, Heidi Faye Taylor, as well as their 2 children. According to Donovan, his relationship with Heidi was strained beyond belief. They were constantly getting in fights over the littlest things. Donovan's real mother lost custody of him at birth, which Shane believes caused a lot of this tension between the two of them. Because Shane traveled a lot for work and the other kids had moved out, Heidi and Donovan were often around each other the most. Donovan details that Heidi despised him, referring to him as a waste of space, and often treated him unfairly by constantly screaming at him for whatever reason she could find. Regardless, Donovan never responded with violence and was quite harmless. His father could recall enjoying fishing trips with his son, who hated the idea of catching them and seeing them suffocate out of the water. Innocent boy, wrapped in turmoil. It's one of those things too where if you're a little sponge when you're younger, you could see the Jeff the Killer thing and just be like, that's me, you know?
That's what happened.
Through assorted text conversations with friends, it became clear that Donovan was becoming increasingly more fascinated with dark topics, such as death.
I feel like that's normal for 14-year-olds.
Yeah, dude. Start having those panic attacks where you're up at night and you're like, when I died, is there even anything there?
Or everyone goes through that phase where you don't kill animals.
In these conversations, he started bringing up his idolization for character Jeff the Killer. Okay, first off, I just want to, if my friend was like, I just think Jeff the Killer's cool, I keep an eye on that guy. I would probably be like, dude, no. If anything, if I'm 14, I'm saying some shit like, dude, no, Jeff the Killer's fucking gay. No. Yeah. It would be one of those kind of conversations. He explained, quote, at that time I admired Jeff the Killer. So like a fantasy of me wanting to be him, I idolized him because he stood up for himself and he was brave and he didn't let anyone mess with him, so to say. And when somebody did, he took action.
Yeah, he saw the bullying. He's like, yeah, I need to do that.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's like, fucking Heidi, barely having sex with my dad. I'm gonna fucking kill Heidi. Later, he put it more simply, saying, I never had power. Jeff has power.
Jesus. My God.
That's actually haunting. That's definitely at the lunch table when everyone's like sitting there, they have like their milk cartons. You're just like, Jeff has power. Okay. I guess I gotta go back to social studies. Take care, Donovan. Like just dead spread off. Despite his own words, Donovan eventually began engaging in lengthy text conversations about how he would successfully get away with killing people. Never did that as a kid. The 14-year-old thing of like, you know, death or whatever. You know, you get a little more edgy, you get a little more grit. Like back in the day, it was I saw a video. I think it was called like One Man, One Hammer. It was like a Russian video of a dude beating a guy to death with like a hammer. It's like one of those old like live leak videos or whatever, or like One Man, One Jar.
Yeah.
Right? Squat and pop. You know what I mean? You do that, but never am I like, I'm like, guys, I like seriously think I could get away with it. I don't think I've never had one friend say that. And if you did, everyone's usually like, what the f are you talking about, dude? And then probably throw a gay thing in there. Dude, you're being gay.
I think one time, not kill someone, but in 6th grade, I told my friends, like, I really want to burn the school down. And he just got quiet.
That is a fucking weird thing to say.
I think we're just venting about class.
Also, your school's made of like stone. Right? Burn it fucking down. This hell institution. I was friends with this guy. He died when I was like probably like a sophomore in high school, like a freshman in high school. He was like a junior or senior, I can't remember, but we would go to his D&D groups, and he was like a real rebel. He hated the jocks, and he like would stand up at like lunch tables, and he would like kind of just make fun of them in front of everybody. Basically started dating this one hot chick, but basically found out that she died. She was like poor. They lived in the same trailer park, and everyone was blaming it on him. And then he had to go into an alternate dimension and play master of puppet. Did you not know I was talking about?
Well, I was like, what are you talking about?
You're just like behind the camera, like it's like so clearly Eddie Munson. A D&D campaign and everything.
Well, I knew. I was like, is this from a movie? What is this from? I've never seen that season.
Okay, dude, I have not seen the season. Whatever. Where am I at? Apparently, he was known to mimic the look of Jeff the Killer by wearing his iconic white T-shirt and black pants, as well as dyeing his hair black. That is iconic. A Hanes white T-shirt. He's doing a fucking Charlie. He's like doing a
Moist?
Charlie outfit. Probably just looks like a Moist Critical fan. Yeah, I love him so much. As time went on, Donovan's interest for Jeff started to take a life of its own inside of his mind. He relates it to cell division, detailing that he began growing into two people, with Jeff being his bad side and often spoke to him.
Red room. Red room.
Yeah, no shit. In fact,
It isn't real.
kind of a smart little bastard though, huh? If I ever uttered the word cell division, I'd be so stoked. I'm like, cell division right now. Looking around, I'm like two people. And then people probably make like fat joke. And I'm like, no, no. Jeff would convince him to do crazy things like destroy his own room and stab the walls. He
Sounds
admitted
like,
that.
wait, this sounds like the puppet guy too. Remember? The puppet told me to do
It's
it.
a Robert thing. Yeah, the kid with Robert just wanted a friend. He just wanted attention, which Donovan probably does too. There's probably like a yearning for positive reinforcement. He wants somebody to just fucking talk to him, but not Heidi. You're not my real mom. He admitted that because of his admiration for the character, he loved being able to speak to him all day, despite being directed to do bad things from time to time. He stated, and I quote, "My bad side started getting bigger and worse. I think about the options, and I was often torn, but generally, I picked the good side." Generally. Donovan, when'd you pick the bad side? Is Heidi in the room? I don't want her to hear this. Which leads into the next section, the murder of Heidi Taylor.
The bad side won.
This is why, yeah, exactly. Well, I guess Jeff prevailed on this one. This is one of those things too, where it's just like, you gotta watch out, man. If you're fucking some dude and he's a weird son, black hair, white shirt, going around talking about cell division, and you're like, you're a fucking waste of space. I mean, it's horrible to say. I'm not trying to, it's a horrible thing that happened, but what the man? You're teasing a bowl of like a china shop. You know what I mean? It's like destruction is imminent.
You got to ask your stepchildren like who their idols are. And they say Jeff the Killer or anything creepypasta.
Okay, first off, I don't think you want to ask your if you're a stepmother or father, I think the last thing you want to do is sit down and be like, who's your idol? Because they're going to say, what? Who's your idol? Also, wouldn't she just be like, who is that? She's right at the store. Besides like Jeff the Killer, what would be like a really unhinged thing? Like a little girl. Super idol the showroom. That's normal. At this time, Donovan had a long-distance girlfriend that lived in Madison, Wisconsin, referred to as MW. She also claims to have an alternate personality named Crystal. Oh, God, here we fucking go, dude. Crystal. My name? It's Ruby. I feel like nowadays you can't name any of your daughters any of the jewels or gems. It's unfortunate. Could be a nice enough girl named Diamond.
Or Pearl.
Pearl. Oh, it's such a gross name, though, isn't it? Here's my daughter, Pearl. We found her in a clam. Heidi Taylor did not approve of this relationship between MW and her son, which apparently led to Donovan losing phone privileges on many occasions. Seems kind of weird too, Heidi, like stepping in. I'm his mom. Like, dude, you're fucking the dad. Am I wrong? Does it feel weird? I guess if she's raised him all of his life, maybe, but sounds like it was not that serious of a thing. Am I wrong? Did I read that wrong? Or did it seem like, oh, he just started dating this woman?
Well, we'll see.
Okay. Which this enraged Donovan, or Jeff, however you want to call him, because she was very important to Donovan as well as Jeff. MW and Crystal were important to Donovan and Jeff.
Oh, so wait, Donovan was dating MW and Jeff was dating Crystal.
Exactly. It's a lover's quarrel. It's like Animorphs. Like transform into somebody else. At one point, he had been sifting and sending other inappropriate messages with her. Okay. All right. Sometime soon after, his phone was taken away. This made him nervous because he knew that if Heidi seized his phone and saw that what was being sent, she would likely force them to cut contact. Which Nicholas explains what followed one afternoon in April of 2017. Roll it.
Me and Jeff were very connected to MW. Like I said before recess, but I knew that if Heidi looked through my phone, she would find me texting MW. She does not approve of MW. She has taken MW away from me multiple times. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen again. Jeff's reaction was different than mine. I was scared of losing her, but I was feeling no sense of homicidalness at all.
Homicidalness, Jesus Christ.
But Jeff, on the other hand, he was absolutely furious. He was a homicidal person at heart, so of course, that was the feeling that he was going to have. And with that anger came just a lot of anger.
With that anger came a lot of anger? Okay.
Yes, I went to a very, very deep trance because I was not able to resurface out of that trance.
Keeps like saying the thing and then reiterating again.
I was in a trance because I was in my trance. When I got into the trance,
okay, dude, come on, Donovan, move on from the trance.
When Jeff came out to say he had put on his clothes that he kept in a drawer in Nicholas's room, and then he got his knife. Then he went downstairs and he proceeded to cut his face. He wanted to kill Heidi.
Are you telling me right now that Donovan actually cut his face?
Yeah, there's a picture.
Donovan attempted to mimic the cuts Jeff made on his cheeks before enacting his plan. First using a knife, then opting for a small needle because it was too dull and hurt too much. Oh my God. Donovan, what are you doing, buddy? He explains how he kept repeating to himself that he wasn't crazy, hoping he could fully wake from his evil side. It was all to no avail. And Donovan, who will continue to refer to himself in court as Jeff, recounts the entire murder.
Jeff then proceeded to hide between the hallway entrance door, and he called out her name to see if she would come downstairs. Heidi. Jeff, when she came to the door, he hugged her from the front. I did not have a reason why he did this.
God, it's so sad.
It was either sympathy for her or sympathy for me, or maybe both. He did not hug her out of anger or intent. He hugged her out of some feeling that was not anger. And then when she started talking and asking about the cuts on his face, that is when he started to attack her.
That's fucked up. Mentally fucked. Hops in front of her, starts hugging her. It's almost like a plea. Get out of here, Heidi.
Yeah. Or it's like remorse because he's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, he's just, which I'll get to a question here in a second, but he stabbed his mother, Heidi, over 60 times, all over her body, from her arms, her face, and her throat. Heidi began running to other rooms in the house to escape. Blood stained the floor and walls wherever she moved. She eventually collapsed in the kitchen. Donovan recounts how tired Jeff was, making time for himself to grab a drink of water. At this point, Heidi awoke and began running upstairs, trying to find a phone to call 911.
That's the funniest thing. Anyone that tries to claim Hassan, like, you think Trump is going to be really good. You think Trump is going to be really good on, you're pro-Trump, you're pro-Trump. Okay? I've had numerous conversations, including with high-profile people who voted for Donald Trump, people who interviewed Donald Trump, where I explained my position over and over again. Now, of course, you're not going to hear that from one-sided who just have a bone to pick because they don't like that their own community considers them to be wrong on this issue, and they're so goddamn narcissistic they can't reevaluate their position and instead just lose their minds over and over again and talk about this. Bradley literally started a bet with me. Yeah, he recognizes that Donald Trump is not, you know, following up on his promises. The American Communist Party is turning on Trump. Oh wow, real emotion here. Bro, respond to the Hutch clip. I'm gonna die, dude. I'm actually gonna die. There's no way that, no, you can't be serious, right? There's no way. Aren't you canceled for revenge porn? Are you stupid? Do you think I'm Destiny? What is happening right now? Dude, I can't deal with this, man. I can't deal with this, dog. What is going on? Like, these people are literally too stupid. Do you know how many times I've seen, like, Hassan was on an anti-Semitic panel talking about how Sabra hummus is mid. Do you know how many times I have seen that online? Like, these are people who have, like, barely functioning brains. I don't know. Like, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? I'm not gonna lie, dude. It's weird how it chilled out in chat for so long. Now it's going crazy again because there's a lot of libs who also don't actually have a decipherable political perspective, okay? And they're just reacting to the whims. The clip is literally nothing. He reacts to you saying there's no evidence suggesting Kamala would be better on Palestine than Trump. That's it. And he stays quiet. It's crazy to me. At a time, it's another clip chimp version where you just finish saying Trump is unquestionably worse. Yeah, it's always the same dude. Clip something in a 17-second increment, okay? And then act like you're fake mad about the clip that you clipped personally. I'm sure there was more to it. Nah, this is the end of it. This is the entirety of the argument here. The craziest part is there will be people that have been in here. There will be people that have been in here that have heard me unironically argue for months that Donald Trump is going to be awful. Okay? That Donald Trump is going to be awful on Gaza. I've debated people who have thought that Donald Trump is not going to be awful on Gaza. Okay? And people still go, oh, wow, Hassan surely thinks. Like, it just doesn't matter what my perspective is. You can just make it up. Like, at least when people like Ben Shapiro get yelled at, it's at least in the same sphere of what his actual opinions are on a particular issue. Okay? Mine is usually the exact opposite of what I'm saying. You know? Can't deal with this. I hate it. Probably one of the worst aspects of this industry. And then people go, Hassan is too afraid. The very same people that that keep trying to say like, oh no, Ethan doesn't have to debate Hassan. Hassan just has to watch his like Hassan has to watch the clips that he compiled from Destiny's community that are like entirely out of context, oftentimes advocating for the exact opposite position that he claims I'm advocating for. Hassan is too afraid of watching those videos. I'm like, no, I'll debate this person. And then they still go, nah, you have to watch the video. How are we debating whether Trump is bad on Gaza? Obviously, American politics is even way dumber than European. What a zero-brain show this is. What do you mean? Are you talking about me? We're not even debating it. I tried to watch it by watching them pop up a reaction, but it was too painful and could not believe how many people were saying you brainwashed them. Yeah. A TikToker who defended you rejected his invite to debate on a show recently. He's so scared of someone with a comparable size of audience. Oh, he wants to debate other people. He doesn't want to debate me. He wants to debate other people about me. That's weird. I'm the subject matter. Just talk to me. Why are you so afraid? Why are you so afraid of having a conversation? Like, the number one reason why this is a idiotic point of contention is because I have already addressed all the talking points and people still go, oh, can you address them? Can you watch the video? Can you address the video? It's like, I have. I addressed it 3 months before the video ever came out, dumb. Because you won't watch the vid? No, that's an idiotic reason, dude. Then it should be that you should be able to destroy me now. Okay? You should be able to destroy me even easier if I don't watch the subject matter. You could just like sit there and show all of the clips out of context directly to my face. And if you want me to explain the context of the clips, we can do that. And perhaps that might be a little too scary for you. You know? That's the funniest part about this is that like me watching the video would be worse for you overall. Yeah. He's also still actively trying to deplatform me too. You watching clips of other people watching the videos only inflame that argument, to be honest. Brother, if I was afraid, why would I just simply run away? Why wouldn't I just run away from the conversation? If I was afraid of seeing the talking points or hearing the talking points, why would I come out and say, let's have a conversation? This is the stupid part that most people do not understand. That's what he's doing. He's using the video as a way to be like, oh, just watch the video, please. Just watch the video, please. This doesn't make any sense. Just say you watched it and then leave it at that. No, I'm not going to lie. It's so funny because he'll complain about the clips. He'll complain about me watching his clips out of context. Ironically enough, his entire video is out of context. You know, I'm in the video. What do you mean? Watch the video. I am the video. It's real. They're DMing smaller creators to debate.
I just turned down an opportunity to go onto H. Reached out to me because of my eel and they asked if I wanted. I said no because I have been watching recently and I can tell that Ethan is operating purely out of bad faith. But just
wait, this coward is demanding that random TikTokers go and debate him on the video? I'm the subject matter. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. We had a podcast. We had a podcast together. How unimaginably bad faith is that? Dude, I'm sorry. This is Steven Crowder. How far the mighty have fallen. He is literally doing Steven Crowder. Oh my God. No, this is about the salute. Oh, it's not about the video?
Just not be a discussion. It would just like railroad me for the video. He can just freely talk about me as he wish. I don't really care. This is going to be the last thing I say about it. I just want to move on. And
isn't the entire point of the video that you still hold these supposed opinions? So why would referencing the video even matter? Shouldn't Ethan want to expose your actual opinions on this? No, obviously the entire point is that it's bad faith. Okay? You should work with one of them to Sam Cedar him? No. These contradictions as well. What is this?
Smart, very intelligent. Definitely not a hack-ass, failed-ass, dumbass comedian.
Bro, I've never tried to be a comedian.
What? You've never tried to be a comedian? What?
Oh, a comedian? What are you talking about? It's just not true, right? And I'm a comedian saying that. I'm a comedian. That's my job. I'm a comedian, right? I'm trying to make a joke. I know it looks crazy. I'm a comedian and people are laughing. Unlike you, I'm a comedian, not a journalist, so I have a little more leeway. I'm a comedian, you know what I mean? Thank you, exactly.
All your content is hateful. How can you go on and brag about being more humility?
I criticize people. I'm a comedian. First of all, I'm a comedian, so anything I say being considered defamation is almost like impossible. I had an idea, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm a comedian, you know, I'm out here, I'm in different lanes. It's not even a sore spot for me or anything, because I'm not a comedian. I've never tried to be a professional comedian.
He's not.
I'm a professional comedian. Are any of them? I'm a professional comedian. You know what I mean? I'm the last line of defense, okay? I'm a professional comedian. Do you know that?
Securing Charlie.
I'm a comedian. I don't know. Am I a comedian?
You're a clown. You're a funny guy.
This clip isn't about... That's out of context. I swear you were talking about someone else. What? No, you missed the end. I don't care. I don't understand. I don't think Ethan is a stand-up comic. But yeah, isn't he a funny guy? Am I mistaken? I'm gonna do a 2-hour video of being like Ethan Klein radicalized me. I thought he was supposed to be a funny guy for the ha-has. And then it turns out he's not. It turns out he thought he was a political commentator this whole time. What? Even if you were to join him live, he would just flood you with all these insane sources like the Saudi state propaganda or the Turkish state propaganda. Great. He's got Dan to back him up too. Dan is a very smart guy. He's well researched. You know? What are we talking about here? Dan, I believe, is a socialist, but not sure. Like...
On January 8th, 2025, the streamer Destiny's ex-wife Melina...
He said he's going to take over the Gaza Strip. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and we'll do a good job with it too. President Trump says, suggesting plans to rebuild the area. Trump repeats this earlier, suggesting that Palestinians leave Gaza to go to neighboring countries. Egypt and Jordan have outright rejected this previously. Once again, going back to the same dynamic that I explained prior, which is they're taking a more hands-on approach to the colonialism. They're taking a more hands-on approach to the violence, and I think this is precisely in that same vein.
Securing C.
Subject force.
Taking Bravo underway.
Well, I can't tell you whether or not the ceasefire will hold. We've done, I think, a very masterful job. We weren't helped very much by the Biden administration, I can tell you that. But we've gotten quite a few hostages out. We're going to get more out. But we're dealing with very complex people.
Bro, ask the guy next to you.
Want to have more come out?
Ask the guy next to you. He's the one who's going to fuck it up. What do you mean? Oh, I can't tell you with confidence if the ceasefire will hold.
But they're going to get better.
You're next to the guy.
And they're going to have a good life.
What do you mean?
And we hope to get
He's right there. Does nobody see him? He's on screen.
You are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there? Redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace. Even
How can you stay sane while listening to this?
how important that land is to you and your citizens
I don't know. I just expect the worst from the start.
is inherited by the Palestinians.
It allows me to be more composed.
Ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent in a really magnificent area that nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death and destruction and rubble and demolished buildings falling all over. It's just a terrible sight. I've studied it. I've studied this.
Who did it?
Very closely over a lot of months, and I've seen it from every different angle. And it's a very, very dangerous place to be, and it's only going to get worse. And I think this is an idea that's gotten tremendous, and I'm talking about from the highest level of leadership, gotten tremendous praise. And if the United States can help to bring stability and peace in the Middle East, we'll do that. Bibi?
I mentioned again tonight our 3 goals, and the third goal is to make sure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. President Trump is taking it to a much higher level. He sees a different future for that piece of land that has been the focus of so much terrorism, so many attacks against us, so many trials and so many tribulations. He has a different idea. And I think it's worth paying attention to this. We're talking about it. He's exploring it with his people, with his staff. I think it's something that could change history. And it's worthwhile really pursuing this avenue.
America first out the window? Chatter. There was never an America first principle. What do you mean? Even the terrorists themselves don't actually yield America first principles at all. America first is just pure marketing so that you can put profits first. You can put war first. You can put profiteers that want to rebuild Gaza first, and then the real estate developers that come in afterwards. It's capitalism first, always and forever.
Somewhat more violent, I will tell you that, because they would have broken their word. Mr. Witkoff and his entire group have been working 24 hours around the clock, and they want them out, and promises have been made to them, and we'll see whether or not those promises will be kept. But we want all the hostages, that's right.
How much time do you think it will take?
Mr. President, do you support Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, areas which many believe is the biblical homeland of the Jewish people?
That's a great question, man. That's totally...
many of your representatives, you're represented very well, and people do like the idea, but we haven't taken a position on it yet. But we will be we'll be making an announcement probably on that very specific topic over the next 4 weeks. Go ahead, please.
Holy.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. So you just said that you think all the Palestinians should be relocated to other countries. Does that mean that you do not support a two-state solution?
It doesn't mean anything about a two-state or one state or any other state. It means that we want to have, we want to give people a chance at life. They have never had a chance at life because the Gaza Strip has been a hellhole for people living there. It's been horrible. Hamas has made it so bad, so dangerous, so unfair to people. And by doing what I'm recommending that we do, it's a very strong recommendation, but it is a strong recommendation. By doing that, we think we're going to bring perhaps great peace to long beyond this area. And I have to stress, this is not for Israel. This is for everybody in the Middle East, Arabs, Muslims. This is for everybody. This would be where they can partake in terms of jobs and living and all of the other benefits. And I think it's very important. It just doesn't work the other way. You know, you can't keep trying. They just has been going along for so many decades, you can't even count. You just can't keep doing. You have to learn from history. You can't keep doing the same mistake over and over again. Gaza is a hellhole right now. It was before the bombing started, frankly. And we're going to give people a chance to live in a beautiful community that's safe and secure. And I think you're going to see a tremendous outflowing of support. I can tell you, I spoke to other leaders of countries in the Middle East, and they love the idea. They say it would really bring stability, and what we need is stability. Yes, sir, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. Are you still committed to imposing sanctions on the ICC, despite the move being stalled in the Senate? And please, a question for the Prime Minister as well. The President has been very clear about his desire to achieve a deal with Saudi Arabia. How do you settle this if Israel is required to renew the war against Hamas in the future?
That's literally Channel 14. That's Benjamin Netanyahu's channel.
I think everybody understands that just as the president fought and defeated Al-Qaeda and ISIS, that we can't leave Hamas there because Hamas will continue the battle to destroy Israel. They'll do, you know, when in this temporary ceasefire, one of their leaders comes out, you know what he says? We're going to do October 7th again, except we'll do it bigger. So obviously, you can't talk about peace neither with Hamas or in the Middle East if this, you know, toxic, murderous organization is left standing. Any more that you could make peace in Europe after World War II if the Nazi regime was left standing and the Nazi army was left standing.
That did happen, by the way. But you guys are also closer to the Nazis in this situation. Israel is the Nazis in this equation. Make no mistake.
Do you have any plan to change Afghanistan situation? Are you able to recognize Taliban? Because I'm an Afghan journalist, Afghan suffrage woman. Any comment about Afghanistan? What's your future plan for Afghan people?
I have a little hard time understanding you. Where are you from? Oh. Actually, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying. But,
oh my
I just say
God.
this.
Oh my God.
Live in peace. Go ahead, please. Say it. Go ahead, please.
Just to follow up on what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries. One, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision world people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't
Look at Netanyahu's face when Trump talks about permanent ethnic displacement. He can't even stop himself from smirking.
You know, you just can't let it keep repeating itself. We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent. But more importantly than that is the people that have been absolutely destroyed that live there now can live in peace in a much better situation because they're living in hell. And those people will now be able to live in peace. We'll make sure that it's done world class. It'll be wonderful for the people. Palestinians mostly we're talking about. And I have a feeling that despite them saying no, I have a feeling that the king in Jordan and that the general president, but that the general in Egypt will open their hearts and will give us the kind of land that we need to get this done. And people can live in harmony and in peace. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, Jordan has already said that that's not going to happen, but it doesn't matter because Jordan is literally already a Western invention to begin with. So I don't know how much pressure they can apply in this process. But it's wonderful because this way you push the Palestinians into Egypt and Jordan, and then a decade later you can also invade Egypt and Jordan, you know, saying security threats exist. This way Israel can maintain its Greater Israel project. American foreign policy only goes in one direction, chat. As I've said time and time again, it's uniparty and it only goes in one direction, and that direction is evil. What a lot of Americans, or what a lot of the people in charge right now fail to comprehend here is that the forcible ethnic displacement of 1.8 million Palestinians in broad daylight to Egypt and Jordan will not only destabilize these countries, right? It will also create a gigantic problem in terms of instability for these nations, because every single person under the rulership of Sisi or under the rulership of the Jordanian king recognizes right from wrong and will create unimaginable chaos in the region, okay? Same with Saudi Arabia. Why do you think MBS still says, hey, I love the nukes. I love you, Donald Trump. You are my guy, okay? I've given you billions of dollars. You're my buddy. You're my buddy in the White House. I'm happy to play ball with you. But having said that, we got to recognize Palestine, okay? 67 boundaries. MBS has time and time again maintained the position that he thinks Palestinians are annoying, okay? In the simplest terms, Mohammed bin Salman, the king of Saudi Arabia, crown prince of Saudi Arabia, has long maintained the position that he considers the Palestinian plight as a nuisance. But why is he still saying we have to make sure that there is some sort of recognition for Palestinian territory? It's because even in Saudi Arabia, the Saudi public is directly at odds with MBS, okay? If it were up to MBS, he'd be like, yeah, wipe them out. I don't care. Great. Kill them all, right? I want to be able to do more sports washing. I want to be recognized broadly. I want to be recognized broadly by the Western world. The problem for him, though, is that even his population in Saudi Arabia are very, very frustrated if he were to concede to Israel without any sort of recognition of a Palestinian state. USA taking over Gaza, Pog. Dude, that's awesome. I love imagining corn-fed boys from Arkansas going and dying in the Middle East at the behest of our additional state there, Israel. Our military base in the region is far too important for us. So you're just going to go die in the Middle East. Awesome, dude. Sick. Okay, good luck. You're going to get your legs blown off. You're going to get your dick blown off. You're going to come back home if you're lucky, and you'll get some of that sweet health care, okay? A lot to look forward to. Pog. Yeah, we're dying. We're dying for Israel, baby. Hell yeah. Fantastic. Man, look at BB smiling as he sees his domestic coalition reform comfortably after all of this. As is his political survival is secure. You, me, and so many others have been saying this would happen for more than a year, but it somehow still hits like a truck to see with my own eyes. I just pray the world doesn't look away. I don't know what the world is capable of doing if America has its heart set on permanent occupation and permanent death and destruction in the region. I truly don't know. That's the other side of this process. The only country that can save us is China, and China has its own allegiances with Israel, as I've mentioned time and time again. So I don't know. It is incredibly bleak. I'm not gonna lie to you. Do you think Saudi Arabia and Sunni Arab states will cede to U.S.-Israeli demands for Palestinian displacement to refugee camps in neighboring countries? The forcible displacement of 1.8 million is genocide. There is no room for ambiguity or plausible deniability whatsoever. Is so man. Yeah, but don't you understand? He wants to build the Riviera. They're not even hiding it. Like, they're openly just stating mass ethnic displacement of 1.8 million Palestinians indigenous to the land that have already been displaced once to go to the Gaza Strip, out of the Gaza Strip. It is unambiguously ethnic cleansing.
Oh, hey. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. How you been, man? I feel like I have not seen you in ages. How are you?
Some of my best friends in the world are Mexicans.
Oh, for real?
Literally, Mexicans.
Oh, for real? Oh, not figuratively?
From Michoacan.
Oh, wait, from Michoacan? No way, man. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you. Okay, let me ask you this.
Can I ask you this?
May I tell you about one of my top earners? One of the top earners of my attention.
Patrick Bet David.
PBD, one of my favorite YouTubers. I found something kind of great on his channel that I am going to act upon. Can we roll that clip? There's nobody over here. Can I roll that clip?
After the shot clock. Valentine's Day. We're only how many days away from Valentine's Day? Exactly 10 days away. You got 10 days. Oh my God. So here's what we did. My wife's birthday is on Valentine's Day. February
2 birds, 1 stone.
It's her birthday.
2 birds, 1 cave.
It's a special day in our family. For some of you that were asking, I want to get something for my wife. She loves Vitamin. She loves PBD podcast. She watches the content.
All right. Look, I have not seen the numbers. I have not seen PBD's numbers, but I highly doubt there's a lot of wives watching Valuetainment. I'm gonna venture a crazy guess that this is a very dude-heavy audience here. I'm gonna guess it's a lot of the dudes out here going like this.
Daddies are more stronger than mommies.
Oh my God.
I'm not even lying.
I'm not even gonna lie right now. I love the idea of a wife opening. I love the idea of a wife opening a package on Valentine's Day and her husband is just looking at her. He's like, He's just watching her open this and she pulls the shirt out. She's confused. She's just absolutely baffled by what the hell this is. Has some weird slogan on the front of it. You know, she holds it up. She's like, oh, what is this? He's like, that's a promotional t-shirt for a YouTube channel I like.
That's so you can promote a scammy YouTube channel that I like.
Happy Valentine's Day. Should I leave now?
Who keeps the children?
Same, but ladies, you asked for it.
Did they?
We're getting it. And our ladies are actually wearing this Vitamin with the Vitamin logo. Oh my God. On the back.
Okay.
That says future looks bright. This looks so good that even Adam was thinking about wearing it because Adam wants black and silver.
Because he's a girl.
And we have this
Hey, because Adam's a girl is what I was saying.
She spit on them. For the first 100 people that place an order for
they get one of these.
For Valentine's Day, Rob, if you can go to the top. You get that
whoa, hey. How did he let that slide? Valentine's Day.
How'd you miss that one?
Oh my God. You're about to be
Valutined.
For Valentine's Day, Rob, if you can go to the top, you get that sticker.
Go ahead.
That says, I love VT, okay? Be my VT Valentine, which is kind of cool. The V and T are together as well. And you get...
That is pretty... I am going to give my Valentine one of those. I love VT. Oh, you love VT. Well, what about me? Do you love me too? Comparatively, well, why are you making me choose? If you keep making me choose, you're going to get one of these.
Bye-bye.
Man, goddamn PBD should have me in the marketing department of this thing.
Oh, he would have the best stickers.
He would have one that would say, let me ask you this. Will you be mine? You're about to be valutined. All this crap. You know, I'm going to put the PB Day Lewis Valentine's merch in the Pobrecito zone. Pobrecito zone.
Biggest things that people were worried about in an election. What was a major issue? What was going on in Israel and Gaza? And her answer, what was that?
You got something in your mouth?
Yeah, the word salad. I put it in there for this Pete right here.
What do you have in your mouth?
Little mint right here, little word salad.
You're the mint. I'm like, what
Spit that out, man. Spit that out. Right. Spit that out into that guy's hand. Yeah, we got like preamps on this mic. That mint is sounding like
boom, 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 boom.
Spit that thing out, man.
Los Angeles law, Pacific Palisades, rebuilding must include low-income housing is what they have to do. Now, Rob, if you got a video on this, if you can pull up the video while I find the page. Oh, I found the page.
Video.
Okay, here we go. All pre-1978 buildings subject to rent control must be rebuilt as affordable units, while newer buildings require proof that all tenants in the last 5 years were high income, or they will automatically be... Tell me why I should build a real estate business in Southern California. Oh my God.
Calm down, man. Calm down, man. Okay, this is an interesting PB segment. I like the PBD show because a lot of it is me trying to figure out what the hell they're talking about. Like what they're trying to, like what's going on in their heads, you know? And I think this segment is just like they don't like low-income housing. I think that's the segment. Because I read the thing they're talking about here, and what it sounds like is basically like, hey, if there's an old building, a building that was built, an apartment building that was built in the 70s, you know, that probably has lower income people living there, or there's a new one that you could prove has lower income people there. If those burnt down, you got to rebuild them as low-income housing. With this thing that, who knows what's going to happen? It's California. It's all run by like real estate crap. It's all people going like this with real estate stuff. But if this happens, it basically sounds like, hey, there needs to be a few places for not wealthy people to live. That's kind of what it sounds like. And the PVD crew is like, that sucks. Okay. All right. Here's the context of this, dude. This is from the LA Times. Was this today? It's someday. It's for one day. The mass displacement from the fires already has pushed up already sky-high prices, with rentals leasing for over asking, agents said. For many, short-term leases, especially furnished ones, are the obvious answer. Volunteers have compiled, what is that word? I can't say that. I can't speak English. No English. Volunteers have compiled spreadsheets and lists of available leases, but most are snapped up minutes or hours after listing. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like if you're like Chet Hanks, if you're Chet Hanks, star of Castaway, Chet Hanks.
Oh my God.
If you're Chet Hanks and your house burns down, you're like, oh, I'll go be Chet Hanks somewhere else for a while. It's maybe not as big a deal as if you're a lower income person living there and your apartment building burns down. And now all the rents are higher everywhere. What's PBD and the PBD boys' solution to this? It's
Tom, tell us the story. And I'm
Tom.
trying to do.
Who is
this
Tom?
What we think it is, Tom, or is California completely lost their mind? Oh my God!
They have lost their mind. This is so California is in the dictatorial state of socialist California has now come to housing.
Exactly.
Wow. Oh my God.
California is a place where
daddies are more stronger than mommies.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but there were fires in Hawaii, like a year ago? There were all these fires in Hawaii, and there were all these stories that came out that were like, oh, man. These real estate companies are calling up, people whose whatever house burned down, and they're like, hey, can I buy that land cheaply? And people were like, that's sick. Taking advantage of a tragedy, that's sick. And there's the same kind of stories now coming out about California where it's like, oh, all these real estate companies are calling from all over the place. Hey, can I buy that?
Hey, we buy that cheap, it's burnt.
And people are like, oh, that's sick. Taking advantage of a tragedy. It sounds to me like what Patrick Bet-David and the crew are saying here is like, not only should they take advantage, but they should really take advantage of this unique opportunity. Hi, I'm Patrick Bet-David. I guess the other funny thing about this is they're like, man, you can't do anything in California. You can't build places in California. What a nightmare. What a socialistic, communist situationist dystopia it is there. But it's like, wait a second, why are they even building houses in Fire Alley? That's like the real interesting question. Like, why don't they just stop building stuff there? Like, that's kind of how out of control it is, that they probably shouldn't have like houses there, really, if they really wanted to deal with Fire Alley. But, whatever. That's not coming up on the PBD show. Because that doesn't keep us
value tame. You said that. Yeah. It makes zero sense on this going on. And then there's a couple other
Calm
stories,
down, man.
But I'll stay at this one.
You want to go down that C word right now.
Don't say it. There's kids watching.
What are the chances that LeBron leaves the Lakers after the season? The whole Bronny experiment is obviously a disaster.
It's horrible.
LeBron goes bye-bye, maybe goes and does a retirement tour, one last year in Cleveland, and then the Lakers rebuild around Luka, and then
calm down, Adam.
I think the Lakers
don't do it.
Says there's this guy, Patrick Bet-David, is a massive
Don't start, Adam. On this channel, we've watched a lot of PBD. I've watched literally millions of hours of PBD. And most of the time it's like, I am getting stupider. This is me. This is affecting me. I'm getting way dumber. This is the first time where my brain was kind of like engaged in a positive way from this show. Like, I agree with Adam here. He's got this take about the Lakers. Oh, Luka might be the new leader of the team, whatever. Who cares? Nobody. But I'm like, that's a fair take. The PBD show should be a sports talk show. This is another one of the marketing things that I'll say in a meeting to PB. I feel like it's a sports talk show now. It's called PB and the Douche. And Adam's the douche. PB and the Douche. These guys are terrible at talking about political stuff, but they would be amazing sports talk radio guys. They take calls. They tell people to shut the hell up. Adam keeps talking about Israel for some reason, but then somebody calls in, tells him to shut the hell up. That'd be a good show.
And Costco said, you know what? We're going to give the non-union members a raise. So let me read the story to you, folks.
Okay, Patrick, go ahead.
Oh, my God. Decides to give a raise to over $30 an hour to who? Their non-union employees.
All right.
Leaving 18,000 union members waiting. They're like, wait a minute, who's getting a bigger raise? The non-union folks are getting paid more than you. But that's not fair. Well, then don't leave the union, right? Anyways, Costco announced that all the employees of its non-union stores will get a raise just the day before employees at its 50 local locations go on a strike. Hourly pay for non-union members at the Costco pay scale will get an hour raise to $30.20 per hour, with $1 raise coming to Next 2 years afterwards, more than half of Costco's employees are at the top of the pay scale owing...
Oh, a story about Costco. Okay. I go there to get hot dogs. I go there to get hot dogs and to take advantage of the free sample. So this story affects me personally. Oh, anyway, here's a funny Tom part. Who the hell is Tom again? Is Patrick Bet-David's dad or something?
Dead! And now they're at the top of that. So why is there low turnover? People like working at Costco.
Exactly.
And now they're getting additional benefits. Oh, extra week of vacation.
Oh, hold on. Let's hear that again.
Additional benefits.
Oh, okay. Calm your ass down, man. You are now firmly in the needing to calm down zone.
That's right.
And now they're getting additional benefits.
Stop.
Oh, extra week of vacation when you've been there 30 years. And vacation.
Wait. An extra week of vacation when you've been there 30 years? Okay.
For new workers, within your first year, you will be granted some vacation in your first year.
Pretty
so it sounds
specific.
like Costco cares about its workers, is paying rates, $30 an hour for somebody working at Costco. They're paying a meaningful rate. Well, now the Teamsters, which only represent Costco workers in California, blue, Washington, blue, Maryland, blue, Virginia, kind of blue, New Jersey, less blue lately, but blue, and New York.
Right.
So it's blue states that they've been able to get traction. Why haven't
Okay, this is going to be a difficult one to make some kind of a case out of. It's only in these parts of the country. Okay, so what?
They've been able to get traction in the red states? Because the workers are saying, why do I need to give a union dues to you?
Okay.
I'm making almost $30 an hour here, and I get vacation, I get benefits. I've been working at Costco 25 years, and they've been good to me. Why do I need you, union? And why do I need...
Okay, I don't know that that's really a red state, blue state. Okay. Tom's filling time. PBD's dad, Tom, is filling time.
Dad!
Okay, anyway, they leave out all of this story. Hey, let's talk about this story, but then not bring up any of the details of it. What is this goddamn Costco union doing? They're asking for improved seniority pay, paid family leave, bereavement policies, sick time, and safeguards against surveillance. Okay, doesn't sound like too much to ask, I would say. If they have to deal with those Costco guys running around with that weird look in their eyes, what's wrong with those guys? That should be hazard pay, that the Costco guys might come in. Chocolate chunk cookie. Yeah, no, I'm gonna need $100 an hour to deal with that. Deal with even the possibility of that. Apparently those issues have been resolved to both parties' satisfaction. Okay. Oh, they were gonna strike. Okay. Just days before the scheduled strike, Costco announced that all hourly, non-union employees would get a pay raise and improved benefits. Ooh. Chocolate chunk cookies, probably. Okay, anyway, shut up. Those at the top of Costco's pay scale would receive a $1 per hour raise to $30.20 per hour. Okay. And a $1 per hour raise each of the following 2 years. Okay. Now we're talking. I could get a new chocolate chunk cookie. What's the other thing those creeps eat? The chicken pocket or whatever that is? Those Costco guys really. Those at the lower end of the pay scale would see a 50-cent per hour raise. Okay? Okay, I'm not surprised that PB in the douche in the morning.
PB and the perv. Okay.
Tom's the perv. This is kind of a hard one for them. I'm not surprised that they left like all the details of this story out. Because these Costco people weren't asking for a lot. They're like, hey, if a family member dies, can I have some time off? Hey, if I've worked here for 30 years, can I maybe make more money? What else? This is pretty. Safeguards against surveillance. Oh, and sick time. Okay, these aren't huge demands. So Costco is like, hey, if you don't join those creeps who are asking for time off if a family member dies, give you an extra $1. Come on, man.
Hey, we'll give you an extra chicken bake. It's a double chunk chocolate cookie. It's a double chunk chocolate cookie. Double chunk chocolate cookie.
If you don't join those guys that are trying to get not surveilled all the time, let you meet the Costco guys. They'll yell at you in one of their videos.
They'll yell in your face.
I've seen this a lot. It's always funny to see this kind of stuff when there's these like conflicts between these companies and the people who work there. You know, a lot of these giant companies are like, oh man, these people are killing us. These people's demands are out of control. It's gonna destroy the company. These perverts. And then you read like what they're demanding and it's like, can we go to the bathroom? It's like, calm down. Calm down. You'll be fine. I think you're good. The company's still going to exist if people can take time off if their relative dies. You pendejo. Thank you.
And so that's what's going on. And Costco,
Thank you, Tom.
in the middle of dealing with the unions, the timing was perfect because now they raised the pay to over $30 an hour. They add more benefits to the people that are non-union. So guess what it does? It completely takes the teeth out of the union.
Right. You should have read the rest of the story, Tom. They made a deal. 350,000 people watch this. You can't be bothered to read the story.
PBD, let me ask you, because...
Go ahead, Adam.
I did not anticipate us talking about this story today because, you know, we all pick our stories. And there's 30-something pages. I didn't have Costco on my bingo card, but the more and more I'm understanding this...
Easy,
I want to find out why you thought this is such an important story. Because I don't go to Costco, I don't go to Sam's Club.
Why are we talking about this?
Yellow bananas at this point. You never know. Green bananas.
What the hell are you talking about?
Why was this important? Story so important to you?
You know what I like? It's kind of like because union's always been a thrown in a lot of business owners,
right?
And they slow things down and they convince the members. There are some, by the way, they started with noble ideas. Most unions started with a good idea, but then it became being ran by people that want control and power and influence. And you know what Costco's saying? We're going to overpay people that are non-union. You're non-union? I would do that. Let's just...
Yeah, I'd take that extra $8 an hour.
It's illegal.
Get the fuck out of here, Patrick. So there we go, Patrick in the puke in the morning. Talking about God knows what. Seems like they barely read the story this time.
I love what Bukele just said. Even though it's not constitutional, I love what he just said the other day. So Marco Rubio goes there.
Great,
is this the message, Rob? Is this the...
Yes.
And then if you can prepare the tweet after this as well to talk about what he's saying. So he goes to meet with Bukele, and Bukele offers to take the inmates from U.S. there at their jail that they have. You have to see this place. Go ahead, Rob. Play this clip of Marco Rubio.
Amazing. Oh, yeah, that's a funny way to intro a story. Hey, this might be so unethical and crazy to the point that it's illegal, but it's a pretty good idea, I think. Hey, this stupid thing, crazy, insane thing. Ooh, pretty good. What is this? This is the president of El Salvador. He was like an advertising guy, and now he's the president. He was an advertising guy and then like a politics guy. Now he's the president. And he's like, hey, send prisoners to El Salvador. Okay. What this really is this guy sucking around. He's like trying to, he's doing some advertising. He's getting his name out there. And then Marco Rubio is like, oh yeah, let's do this. Marco Rubio looks like a human scam. But yeah, this is insane and stupid. And the only thing here is like, I wouldn't want to be recorded on a video saying, oh, this is cool. That's pretty much this story. Okay, before we get the hell out of here.
Oh my God.
I found an older PBD clip. What is this, 7 months ago? Oh, I had to watch this. This is very important. What the hell is this goddamn thing called? Porn addiction. Whoa, that's when you go like this. You go like that too. The biggest threat to young men? That's a bold claim, okay? There's a funny part in this video. Check this out.
I get out of the Army, and when I start building a sales organization, start experiencing and hearing about different guys that are dealing with porn in different ways. So one of my guys that I was working with, his porn started like going from regular porn, then he started watching, and he watched some stuff that one day I walked in on an office. Some of the stuff this guy watched was, I don't even want to tell you what he watched, but go to what he was watching. And I looked at this guy, I said, man,
I said, where do I find this? I said, can you send me a link? I'm just kidding, guys. That's a little joke there. Seriously, it's bad, guys. I shouldn't be joking about this. It's bad. I'm Patrick Bet David. I like to joke around a little bit, you know? Let me ask you this.
Oh my God.
Daddies are more stronger than mommies.
You okay watching this stuff? Well, everybody has a different fetish. This is a very weird fetish, bro. This fetish is not actually healthy for you. And this fetish is actually not healthy for...
All this happened in the office. You know, like if you're going to make up a story for a video, make it realistic, you know what I mean? I'm on the objective. Oh, you know, we were all watching porn in the office all the time, and we would talk about it. You know, and then I walked in and this guy was watching porn blatantly enough where I saw, oh, look at that. Let me check this out. Nah, I don't know. That seems weird, man. And we had a long talk about it at the office. Totally normal kind of thing. I said to him, hey, this is an MLM, one of the biggest scams in the country. We don't take kindly to that kind of activity. That's sinful. Now get back to ripping people off. Get back to taking advantage of the vulnerable, please. And then he turns to walk out of the office. He looks back at him. He's like, sicko. Well, guys, there we go in absolute fire. Another one. That's putting it lightly. Come on, guys. Don't start, please. Don't start with this again, that it's not a fire, another one. It's Wednesday, you know, this and that, to and fro. Whatever, Wednesday. Whatever, you know, that's how we believe. You know, that's how we feel about it. I go either way on it, frankly. But I hope you guys are doing good. That's one thing's for certain. Oh, subscribe on Patreon to get all the episodes, all that kind of stuff. Oh, the things we do on Patreon. On Patreon, you wouldn't believe. It'll have you saying, oh my God. Anyway, have a good rest of the week, guys. Love you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name's LeDron James. I used to be a character on this show, but the host got afraid that my charisma would outshine his. LeDron James here telling you, please subscribe on Patreon. Please, please. I said please. You have to, yeah? I mean, I do believe that. But guys, guess what? You're missing episodes every week, okay? You get 2 additional episodes every week. That's unbelievable. They're longer, too, usually. But if you want that, click the link in the description. It's there in the description. Oh, you can buy a t-shirt, too. Add that link's there, too, I believe. I believe so. All this kind of crap. It's unbelievable. Well, anyway, again, I just want to reiterate what my name is, which is LeDron James. And now I'm leaving. So, goodbye. You got LeDron James here on 100.59 The Drawn. That was the chocolate chunks with Go to the Pobrecito Zone. Let's take a few calls. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Drawn. You suck, first of all.
Oh, well, thanks for... Hey, shut up, man.
Yeah, anyway, LeDron, do you think that Luka's gonna be the new kind of team leader of the Lakers?
Hey, shut up, first of all. Second of all, I don't know. What even does any of that mean? Oh, gotta take a quick break. Gotta take a quick break. We'll be right back at 105.29 The Draw.
There's something kind of scary brewing in America. Communism.
You heard that right. The scary thing that's brewing right now in America is communism, not fascism. Even though the fascists are in full control of our government and they're crippling institutions and dismantling the administrative state as we speak, the real threat is actually communism. Yeah, makes sense. Now, in case you don't know who that is, it's comedian Ethan Klein of the H3 podcast. And even though he tried to say that in a funny way, I promise you, he wasn't trying to do satire. It's what he unironically believes. Now, I don't know how familiar my audience is with Ethan Klein and the H3 podcast, but if you aren't familiar with him, I know that you've at least probably seen this incredible moment that he helped to facilitate.
Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. I had no idea this was going to happen.
Oh no, Sam Cedar.
And now it's all come full circle because Ethan Klein is now the one who refuses to talk to Sam Cedar, much like Jen Uger of TY2, who's also currently crashing out like Ethan Klein. And as Jimmy Dore slid further to the right a couple of years ago, he too refused to debate Sam Cedar. So it feels like Sam Cedar has become the de facto final boss of grifters and crash outs because they know that he would easily expose their bullshit, hence why they avoid him like the fucking plague. But But an existential fear of Sam Cedar is not the only thing that Ethan Klein and Cenk Uygur, as well as Anna Kasparian, have in common. They've all been cheered on recently by the far right for punching left. Ethan's been applauded by the likes of Tim Pool and Keemstar and Ian Miles Chong, all for his smear campaign against his former co-host Hassan Piker. Now, on the subject of similarities between the H3 and TYT crashouts, we also saw how the far right showered Anna Kasparian with compliments for her birthing person tweet. Ethan Klein also hates Hassan. Anna Kasparian, she hates him too. Cenk doesn't, so he gets a little bit of a pass there because that's his nephew. Both TYT and H3 are fueled by personal, petty grievances and hurt feelings. Ethan and Cenk claim everybody else has changed while they're the ones who've remained consistent. In fact, there's a lot of similarities between the H3 and TYT crashouts, but ironically, Ethan Klein is able to see what's happening at TYT, but he doesn't have the self-awareness to see that he's had a similar trajectory for the same reasons.
Speaking of which, have you noticed the co-host from the Young Turks, Anna, what's her last name, has gone like full Trump? And Cenk too. They've both gone like pro-Trump. It's so crazy. Check it out. It's fucking weird.
They have?
Yeah.
Now, to clarify, Ethan hasn't gone full MAGA, although he has made some reactionary points, like he berated one of his producers, Olivia, for pronouns. I think he called her woke, if I'm remembering correctly. So, you know, there's some groundwork there being laid for a right-wing pivot, wittingly or unwittingly, but Ethan Klein is incapable of seeing that minor disagreements with the left and an inability to accept good faith criticism is ultimately what broke Cenk and Anna's brains, and it's the exact same thing that broke his brain too. But he hasn't changed, apparently. He's not grifting. The real grifter is his left-wing co-host who mildly criticized him. To show you what I mean, so in the same clip that we just watched, Ethan Klein accused Hassan Piker of being the one to pull a Dave Rubin, albeit a reverse Dave Rubin.
I think he did like what Dave Rubin did, but like the other direction. He realized that like he could farm more audience going that direction. And Dave Rubin thought, well, I can farm more audience going to the right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Doesn't seem to be coming from a very
always
serious
been
place.
left leaning though. Dave Rubin did like a full flip. Like Dave Rubin was left to right.
By the way,
yeah, see, even his producer Dan didn't agree with him because it's laughably fucking stupid. But it's not lost on me that Cenk Uygur likened his new nemesis Sam Cedar to the likes of Jimmy Dore and Dave Rubin as well, even though he's the one that's on that trajectory with those people.
So finally, after somebody does it 1,000 times, we're like, all right, fuck it. Here's who's doing it, and fuck them, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh no, I can't believe you're saying that about poor Jimmy Dore. I can't believe you're saying that about poor Dave Rubin. I can't believe you're saying that about poor Sam Cedar. I know. Poor Sam.
Interesting, right? So there's a lot of similarities between H3's crash out and TYT's crash out. But even though Cenk and Anna might bitch and moan about criticism that they get from the left, they have never gone so far as to call for leftists to be deplatformed because of their disagreements. And that right there is where Ethan Klein stands out as the biggest piece of shit in this situation. Because he's launched an all-out campaign to deplatform Hassan Piker. We're not just talking about him disagreeing with Hassan Piker and criticizing Hassan Piker. He is trying to destroy Hassan Piker, his former friend and co-host. But I want to back up a little bit and give you some additional context, so that way we're all on the same page, because again, I'm not sure how much of my audience is familiar with Ethan Klein, but I want you to know how it got to this point. So after October 7th, both Ethan and Hassan seemed to be on the same page for the most part, but soon after, some disagreements began to emerge. Ethan Klein supported a two-state solution, whereas Hassan supported a one-state solution. Ethan Klein made comments that were tone-deaf and, frankly, idiotic and offensive by claiming that Jewish Voice for Peace wasn't sufficient evidence of Jewish opposition to Israel, and he invoked capos to make that point. And the audience did not like that. Now, at that point, he ended the Leftovers podcast with Hassan because of the pushback that he thought he was receiving from Hassan's community specifically, but it wasn't just his community, it was Ethan's community too. I know this because I've been a part of Ethan's community longer than I've been a part of Hassan's community. I'm a fan of both of them. Now, I had to take a break from H3, and then I returned after he made those terrible comments, and when I returned, one of the first episodes was him making fun of Aaron Bushnell behind a paywalled episode. Aaron Bushnell, for those who don't remember, is somebody who self-immolated. He is a U.S. veteran who self-immolated to protest our complicity with Israel's genocide. And to see Ethan Klein respond in the way that he did, that was when I had to check out for good, because I just couldn't get past his disgusting take there. He started to also conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. He later spent an entire episode shitting on Hassan Piker, and during that episode, his Lebanese staffers had family in Lebanon that had to evacuate because they were being bombed by Israel. He centered his feelings during that entire episode, didn't even let them share their experience. That's insane to me. He later claimed recently, actually, that Joe Biden was actually good when it comes to Israel-Palestine, even though he armed and funded them at every step of the way. His wife, Ela Klein, called Yoav Gallant a really good guy, even though he is the war criminal who called Palestinians human animals while announcing that he was going to be cutting off food and electricity to all of them, not just Hamas. And over time, these things that he kept saying started to add up, and the left-wing audience that he cultivated began to grow tired of this bullshit commentary that they've been hearing. And little by little, as he lost viewers and subscribers every single week, he began to grow more angry with Hassan, because seemingly he felt like Hassan turned his audience against him, which isn't true at all. He has a left-leaning audience that just agreed more with Hassan, full stop. And I don't think I'm making unreasonable assumptions here, because Ethan has been pretty upfront about the fact that his anger towards Hassan stemmed from him having hurt feelings. And I say that because he included this clip in his content nuke of Hassan from a conversation that they both had just before he ended the Leftovers podcast.
Do you care that your chat is calling you racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
Moderate that at all?
I have not looked at my chat at all, but you have
I just opened it, but don't you have moderators? Do you care at all about what your audience says about me?
There's 32,000 people in here right now.
I'm just trying to tell you guys how it feels. And I'm fucking shocked that you don't care that people in your chat are saying, who the fuck is this child, cold, arrogant, as fuck.
I love you, but there's only so much I can do.
How can you be surprised when your Discord is literally full of fucking
Ethan, I love you, but there's only so much I can do.
Now, to be clear, Hassan was banning people who were being purposefully antagonistic towards Ethan out of respect for him and their friendship. I know because I was there. I saw Hassan on stream ban chatters who came in talking shit about Ethan Klein. He tried to get his own chat to see it from Ethan Klein's perspective as a dual citizen of the US and Israel. But that wasn't enough for Ethan Klein. And ever since that moment, his hatred towards Hassan has grown and festered. You know, for months he's been stewing, and it's reached the point where Ethan Klein is not only comparing Hassan to literal neo-Nazis like Nick Fuentes, but he's also accusing him of being a terrorist sympathizer. And worse, he's trying to get Twitch to ban Hassan, and he used this content nuke to encourage his viewers to call for an advertiser boycott of Twitch if they don't actually ban Hassan.
I made this video for two reasons. First, to stop Hassan infiltrating mainstream media. Hassan has been welcomed by many mainstream outlets. They view him as a friendly social democrat, as someone who's just trying to spread progressive politics online to an important demographic. But we know that's not true. He is not their friend or their ally. If you ever see Hassan rubbing shoulders with anyone from mainstream media, let them know politely, with all the civility in the world, what kind of person he is when he thinks mainstream media isn't watching. Help them understand that his name should be associated with people like Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones, other fringe, radical, political commentators. Number two, Twitch must be held accountable. Twitch has proven that it will not change by choice, and so it is our moral imperative to enact that change through any reasonable means that we can. Samsung, Chevron, and Capcom. Twitch has given them a lasting association with a racial tier list with Arabs at the top and Jews at the bottom. These brands have every right to know, and they should. We all recall YouTube's adpocalypse. It happened when ads were running over ISIS recruitment videos, and it caused a brand exodus. The same thing is happening now on Twitch, but instead of ISIS, it's the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah. Dan Clancy's refusal to moderate extremists is the only reason for any of this. He is the sole person to blame.
Yeah. Now, first of all, he is grossly mischaracterizing the racial tier list that he referenced there, and he got all of those small creators banned for a month because of his outrage over that. But now he's trying to cause adpocalypse on Twitch to kill everybody's channels, so that way they'll all be mad at Hassan. So that way other creators will try to sacrifice Hassan to the gods of the advertisers in order to spare them. Now, conspicuously enough, Ethan Klein doesn't have the same energy for the right-wing streamers who push red pill manosphere bullshit to young men, or for the fascists who are spreading genocidal hate speech towards trans people and immigrants and also Palestinians. He's targeting Hassan simply because his fucking feelings are hurt. That is what this is about. Meanwhile, as he's coping and seething, Hassan is having the time of his life. Hassan was in Japan feeding capybaras in a French-maid outfit while Ethan Klein's content nuke dropped. And you could tell that Hassan is not bothered by Ethan's bullshit because he knows that he's right. Conversely, Ethan Klein is extremely bothered by Hassan because deep down he knows that he's in the wrong. In times like these, we need people like Hassan more than ever. So, you know, when we're trying to fight fascists and you want to take away a prominent anti-fascist voice, Ethan, I take that personally, right? You are trying to cripple the left's ability to fight fascism by targeting one of the loudest voices that we have in this space. Now, in his 1 hour, 40-minute long content nuke, Ethan claims that Hassan should be deplatformed not because his feelings are hurt, but because he's promoting terrorism in a number of ways. So he says that since Hassan is promoting terrorism and that's against Twitch's TOS, well, they have grounds to ban him. Now, he makes this argument by including clips of Hassan broadcasting videos of Houthis dancing, saying that that's terrorist propaganda. He accuses Hassan of not pushing back enough against the Yemeni pirate that he brought on his program. And a lot of these claims that he makes during this process are very poorly sourced. He clearly cherry picks headlines while not reading the article. And he makes a lot of rookie mistakes during this video essay. Not to mention, a lot of the clips that he used of Hassan were very clearly misrepresented or taken out of context completely, but he sourced these from Destiny's community, specifically their subreddit, I'm assuming. But to be fair, there were criticisms in that content nuke that he lobbed at Hassan that were reasonable. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I can understand why some of these things that Hassan says would be off-putting to somebody who's offended by edgy humor or isn't necessarily on our side of the political aisle, so him saying that sounds extreme. With that being said, the crux of his argument here falls apart when you understand the double standard and sheer hypocrisy of what Ethan Klein is saying. So while he accuses Hassan of being a terrorist sympathizer, he doesn't hold streamers who literally make pro-IDF content to that same standard, even though they explicitly whitewash and justify IDF terrorism. Nor does he accuse those types of people, Lonerbox, Destiny, Brianna Wu, of promoting terrorism. And he doesn't say that they should be banned. He just says this about Hassan, right? Now, he certainly doesn't hold his own wife to that same standard. She was a member of the IDF, which is a terrorist organization, to be clear. But since Israeli soldiers wear military fatigues and have the full backing of the US government, well, he's incapable of seeing them as the terrorists that they are. So anybody who promotes them aren't necessarily promoting terrorism by definition because they're the good guys. Now, he also defends Ela by saying that Israel had mandatory military service, so she had no choice but to serve in the IDF, which is fair. But he never responds to the fact that she willingly shared the fact that she had a boring desk job with the IDF, but chose a different position within the military because she thought that it was too boring. And on that same podcast, she talked about how she went on a raid to a terrorist city. Ramallah, specifically, is what she was referring to. And more recently, his wife, Ela, called the Israeli defense minister, who is wanted by the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity, a really good guy. Now, listen, I don't expect him to call his wife a fucking terrorist, obviously, but I do expect him to have a little bit of fucking self-awareness and maybe not lob that term around so casually if that's his wife's history. And on that note, YouTuber Bad Empanada did a thorough breakdown about this, and he explained how by Ethan's own standards, Ela Klein is more of a terrorist than the Yemeni kid that Hassan interviewed. And that's important because it's one of the core pieces of evidence that Ethan Klein is using to supposedly prove that Hassan is a terrorist sympathizer. And that right there is the core issue that people like me, a former fan of Ethan Klein, take with this arc that he's on, this anti-Hassan arc. It is a double standard that is clearly rooted in Western chauvinism, in Islamophobia, and quite frankly, in racism. And putting aside that issue, it's rich for somebody like him to condemn Hassan for his craziest takes when he literally had to buy a $20,000 button for his podcast to purge oopsies that he made during live streams. I mean, we're talking about somebody that beamed a little bit too close to the sun multiple times. He said that he hoped the NRA convention, when it was happening, I think it was 2023 or so, got shut up. He said that if there's another Holocaust, he hopes that Ben Shapiro is gassed first or last. And he admits that he says offensive things himself in the Content Nuke, to his credit, but he implies that Hassan's edgy comments are just too beyond the pale, whereas his aren't, I guess. And I mean, that's fine. You can think that, but it makes you a hypocrite, especially considering how you literally built your fucking career by making edgy jokes. And now he's taking to Instagram to attack people who criticize him. And he's even saying that, oh, this term crashing out is ableist. That's not his exact word, but that's what he's implying. So all of a sudden, this edgy guy who had to buy a $20,000 button to hide the fucked up things that he says is now the biggest woke scold and thinks that he can call for other people to be deplatformed given everything that he said. I mean, it's just so fucking hypocritical, the audacity of him, right? So it feels so weird that all of a sudden he is the biggest pearl clutcher on the internet, and he's calling for his former co-host to be deplatformed. And the worst part is that Ethan Klein, like, there's this level of disingenuity that is so frustrating. He feigns ignorance, for example, to Hassan's leftism at one point in the Content Nuke, and makes it seem like Hassan groomed him or exploited him to get to his audience, to radicalize them against him. And that's presumably how he reached the conclusion that communism is this dangerous threat brewing in America, because, you know, he saw firsthand how it affected his audience, and, you know, he's warning everybody else.
We were doing our regular show, and for the first time I noticed an inordinate amount of radical, hardcore leftists. I mean, I thought we were social democrats, not whatever this was. I don't hate the idea of, like, people who can be successful. I think it's good that people can achieve success, in the term monetary success. I mean, that's what that means, right? I do. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Because I see so many people in the chat saying no.
I don't know what y'all are tripping about. Like, what the fuck?
What is the idea that
you guys
people are looking for?
You guys are all like radical communists? There's that many radical communists? Suck it, chat. You're watching a capitalist pig. Deal with it.
Now, he has cultivated more of a left-wing audience due to his proximity with Hassan, and also because he kind of made a pivot after making pretty reactionary videos. But there were also a lot of people in his audience that have always been left-wing. People like myself who remember the cringe-worthy episodes where he debated with his producers, Dan and Ian, about whether or not billionaires should exist. That was insufferable to me, and I'm glad that he moved away from that and became more progressive with time. I mean, his audience was not happy back then, if you go back and watch those episodes, and they especially aren't happy now that he's running interference for rich people. So of course they're going to respond to you by criticizing you, especially, again, after you moved away from that trajectory that you were on towards the end of the SJW era back in like 2016, 2017, where he was platforming racists like John Tron and hucksters like Jordan Peterson, twice for that matter. So to see you move in this better direction where you take accountability for your past actions, that was encouraging. So your audience is holding you to this new standard that you set for yourself. But he doesn't like that, right? But here's where his Content Nuke got especially fucking clownish, when he pretends like he was victimized by Hassan, who apparently lied to him about his true communist intent. And this right here is where we get into the Red Scare portion of the Content Nuke, and it is the most clownish shit I have ever seen in my fucking life.
Now listen to Hassan during our very first conversation lie to me about how he's a social democrat to hide his power level.
We should move towards a Sweden-style economy or a Norway-style economy, which would be a social democracy.
You have to advocate for a much lighter form of propaganda.
With robust social safety nets.
Cold radicalization funnel, catch them while they're young, as they say.
And protections for workers, like higher unionization rates.
A lighter form, while simultaneously still doing educated propaganda that goes beyond democratic ideas.
Hell, he's proclaimed it loudly that he is a self-described propagandist.
I'm a propagandist.
Well, no.
For the record.
No, I'm not calling
I'm
you
a
that. I'm just saying, I'm going to play you.
I'm saying I am.
Okay, well then,
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want
you
to
even play it.
A propagandist is much more than someone with a bias. It's someone who knowingly lies to further their political agenda. And then I had a terrifying vision. Had I been duped?
was Hassan presenting a Trojan horse to my community, where he was just a left-leaning Democrat like myself, and as he said in the previous video, was funneling them into radicalization and turning them against me.
Liberals are some of the easiest to manipulate people on the fucking planet, dude.
I learned how much he hates liberals.
Dude, I hate liberals, dude. I hate them. I hate them so viciously.
Did he secretly despise me this whole time?
I'm sorry, dude. I hate liberals so much.
Did this man sit next to me for 2 years and pretend to be my friend?
Dude, liberals are a burden on this planet, dude. Liberals are the most, like, scummy, vile, fucking idiots. Liberals are incredibly stupid. I hate these petulant liberals, dumb fucking liberals.
What else is someone this sociopathic capable of?
Liberals are some of the easiest to manipulate people on the fucking planet, dude.
Was I being manipulated this whole time?
That was my fear anyway. Regardless of his true beliefs, that broke my trust in him, and I pretty much ended the show immediately. And I felt guilty for my participation in mainstreaming Hassan.
It is adorable that he credits himself for Hassan's popularity. That right there is peak delusion. But as you saw, it always comes back to Ethan's feelings. First of all, propaganda is a value-neutral term. It doesn't necessitate lying. He made that up. Second of all leftists have expressed anger with liberals for many reasons. Liberals have done the same. But liberals in particular, like Ethan Klein, they agitate leftists by choosing to focus their ire on the left as opposed to the fascists who seized power in this country. And he's not the only person who does this, to be fair. It happens all the time, which is why the left does get frustrated with liberals. For example, Olivia Giuliana, a pro-Democrat influencer, chose to bash Chappell Roan for calling for healthcare for musicians at the Grammys, while implying that she didn't support Kamala Harris, who had a plan to expand access to healthcare, except she's lying. She did vote for Kamala Harris. She just didn't want to publicly endorse her because of her complicity with genocide. Moreover, liberals on Twitter spent Trump's first week in office bashing my leftist mafia co-host, Ariana Jasmine, for saying that she wouldn't vote for Joe Biden because as a Muslim woman, she couldn't overlook the genocide that he was complicit with. Never mind the fact that in the end, she did vote for Kamala Harris for purposes of harm reduction and showed up to the DNC convention to pressure them to platform a Palestinian speaker. She put in the work and she was still raked over the coals for not sufficiently swearing fealty to the Democratic Party. So there's been this long-standing animosity between leftists and liberals because we are forced to share a party with people that have completely different worldviews than we have. Liberals are capitalists. Leftists are anti-capitalists. Liberals like the Democratic Party. Leftists do not like the Democratic Party, although some of us align with Democrats to stop fascists, right? And we're critical of the Democratic Party because we want them to do better and beat fascists, which irritates liberals. But Ethan Klein feels like Hassan downplayed his actual beliefs to radicalize Ethan's audience and ultimately turn them against him. But Hassan has literally never hid his views, ever. He has a bust of Lenin behind him. And I hate to break it to Ethan, but as leftists, we know Americans might be turned off by socialism or criticisms of capitalism, so we all try to meet people where they are by making arguments that are more digestible to mainstream audiences. Rather than saying socialism, we might say social democracy or democracy in the workplace instead, since democracy is more familiar to Americans, whereas socialism seems foreign to them. Like, we're trying to craft arguments that resonate with people so that way they're not susceptible to fascist radicalization. If they're going to be radicalized, we want them to be radicalized in a good way. So that way they are speaking out for social justice and economic rights, which is really important right now, since again, the fascists have all the power in this country. Kind of an important point. It's not deceptive. It's called fucking politics. Hassan and Ethan's audience were well aware of the fact that Hassan was very much anti-capitalist when they started that podcast. And if Ethan was somehow ignorant to that fact, if he was somehow the only person in America that didn't know that Hassan was a socialist, well, then that's his fault and nobody else's. But therein lies one of the problems. Ethan Klein is incapable of admitting that he's ever at fault. Sound familiar? While he takes responsibility for platforming Hassan, he, kind of eases his culpability there by suggesting it was only because he unwittingly was duped by Hassan and didn't know any better. Ooh. And instead of trying to understand where his audience, who respected him, is coming from and why they're frustrated with the stances that he's taking, he instead blames Hassan for their disagreement with him and chalks it up to anti-Semitism. And Hassan pointed this out during a stream after Ethan dropped his content nuke.
Constantly pointing the finger at other people. It can't be me. It can't be the broad reception of my worldview. It cannot be the way that people understand where I'm coming from, okay? The way people have heard the same talking points over and over again from people who are genuinely deeply pro-Israel. Maybe that was the reason why people were saying that. No, it must be because of anti-Semitism. And it's like, it's not as though anti-Semitism isn't increasing. It is, okay? And it's something that I understand. It's something that many of these people that Ethan has falsely smeared as anti-Semitic understand. So especially at a time when there's motherfuckers like Nick Fuentes, Jake Shields, or numerous other like actually anti-Semitic monsters out there who are running rampant, hyper-focusing on people who are anti-Zionist and expressly and openly not anti-Semitic is certainly a choice.
Yeah, but according to Ethan Klein, Hassan Piker is just as extreme as Nick Fuentes, and you should focus all of your energy on making sure that Hassan is treated like we treat the Nazis. Don't do that to the fascists. Do it to somebody who's fighting the fascists. And on the subject of Nick Fuentes, you know, to talk about treating Hassan like him, Ethan Klein doesn't talk about Destiny, who platformed Nick Fuentes. He has nothing to say about that in radicalization. He only has this fire for Hassan Piker. It's always left punching. But again, this is where these similarities between Ethan Klein and Cenk Uygur start to show again, albeit to a much lesser extent. So Cenk often equates the far left with the far right as if they're comparable, when they are not comparable, not even close. The far right wants a white ethno-state, whereas the far left wants free healthcare and social justice and freedom for workers. Comparing the two is tantamount to fascist apologia as far as I'm concerned, because you are sanitizing the danger that these fascists actually pose. They want to inflict pain and suffering on vulnerable people, whereas the left wants to stop that, wants everybody to be equal, wants everybody to have healthcare and worker rights. But even as people like Ethan Klein and Cenk suggest that the far right and far left are opposite sides of the same coin, one thing that's becoming abundantly clear is that neither of them have the same energy for the far right that they have for the far left. And David Dole actually confronted Cenk about this on Twitter after he made this tweet, which reads, "Me, we have to talk to the other side instead of just calling them Nazi or racist. Far left, you're straw manning. We're not doing that. Me, then what's the problem? Far left, you're whitewashing them when you talk to them. Me, how? Far left, by not calling them white supremacists. Me, Now David Dole responded saying, bending over backwards to appeal to Nazis while having unhinged vitriol for the left sure is a strategy. He continues, bending over backwards to appeal to the right while attacking the left is literally what Jimmy Dore did, and we all made fun of him for it. Now you're surprised people are criticizing you for doing it? Cenk responded saying, you're still calling them Nazis. I thought you were one of the smarter ones, David. I guess I was wrong. MAGA is not destroying the Democratic Party and ruining any chance to pass our priorities. The radical left is, with lunatic positions like crime doesn't exist. David responded saying, that's a complete straw man. Please show me a video from anyone, myself, Majority Report, Fran, whoever, saying crime doesn't exist. You're just making things up. The left is also very clear about their hatred for the Democratic Party, and you know that. The argument I'm simply making is, why is your vitriol for the left so clear and consistent while you go over the top to appeal to people like Charlie Kirk and Elon Musk? Cenk responded to that saying, you pretending as if all the radical left hosts were just minding their business when we, out of nowhere, attack those poor innocent folks is the biggest load of bullshit. That's why you lying like this is weird and disappointing. They attacked us with vicious lies first. David responded saying, simply not the case. Ole went on your show to discuss her perspective as an activist and attorney, and you immediately made it an adversarial interview. Anna, to her credit, was trying to keep it civil, and that was after months of attacks on powerless, as in not in position of power, left-wing activists, trans activists, and otherwise weren't doing activism in a way that you thought was correct. Cenk responded by saying, I get it, David. You also want clicks. He says this because he has no other response to it, because David is right. Here, everybody, look at how self-righteous and morally pure David is. He also hates all rational strategies. Give him some clicks. Ole was arguing for abolishing prisons. Is there a dumber position? David responded to that with a death blow, saying, bro, looking at TYT, I think you're the one that needs clicks. I'm doing just fine covering news and politics. This won't be on my channel. You're not as important as you once were. Cenk responded to that angrily, saying, great, then fuck off. Also, why is every left-wing channel doing videos about us, and how are they the brave ones willing to call everyone Nazis, but we aren't? Make up your mind on your talking points. Are we grifters who did it for a larger audience, or is our audience dwindling? Finally, David responded saying, again, literally no one is saying that, LOL. You always make these claims that left-wing channels are calling you a Nazi and never produce the evidence. I don't think you're grifting. I think you've made a horrible mistake thinking you can appeal to cult members when there's a mass exodus of liberals from MSNBC that you could be attempting to move left. So as you can see from that exchange, Cenk is exhibiting a lot of the same characteristics as Ethan Klein is during his crash out too. The grievance politics, the victim complex, the left punching, the inability to ever admit that they're wrong about anything ever, the ironic allegations that their critics are the ones who are grifting and not them, the lashing out, which Ethan Klein has done quite a bit, not just at Hassan Piker, by the way. He lashed out at Ludwig for daring to point out that Ethan shared a fake screenshot in his content nuke that he sourced from Destiny's subreddit. Now he also viciously attacks Frogan for the most petty, disgusting reasons ever. He's attacked Anthony Sargon, who is a Lebanese leftist streamer who was also a former fan of Ethan Klein. And he seemingly, like Cenk and Anna, reads and responds to literally every piece of criticism that he sees, which is awful because that contributes to their brain rot and accelerates the crash out. And I mean, if you're not gonna listen to anybody's good faith criticism, then why even read it in the first place? It doesn't make sense to me. And it's just sad because, like, I respected all of these people at one point. And it's sad because Ethan, Anna, Cenk, they've all chosen to further insulate themselves in different echo chambers instead of engaging with people who used to be their friends that have good faith criticism towards them. And now, so many bridges have been unnecessarily burned. Hassan offered to speak to Ethan and debate him about his criticisms. He even offered to facilitate a conversation between Ethan and Sam Cedar, and Hassan is going to explain how that offer went.
I tried changing his mind. Maybe this time I'll bring Sam Cedar, and you'll be the one saying, oh my God, Sam Cedar, what a nightmare, because, you know, you've been running away from him. Yeah, I wonder why Ethan Klein won't talk to Sam Cedar. In private correspondence, I told you. I said, hey man, I know you don't respect me, because he's claimed that I wasn't like talking to him at all. So I said, hey, I don't think you respect me at all. But you respect Sam Cedar, you should talk to him. You should talk to him about this issue. He has a lot of lived experience. And he said that was anti-Semitic. Everything is anti-Semitic.
And that right there is how you know Ethan Klein has lost his goddamn mind. He interpreted Hassan's offer to connect him with someone he says he respects as, oh, you just think that I'm a bad Jewish person and you want to connect me with a good Jewish person that affirms your views. I mean, I feel like he's known Hassan long enough at this point to know that that wasn't Hassan's intent. And I think he was just making an excuse because he doesn't want to talk to Sam Cedar because, again, Sam Cedar knows his shit. Ethan does not. But, you know, Ethan Klein has avoided Sam Cedar. Like Cenk, he's attacked Emma Vigeland, much like Cenk and Anna. And the reason why Sam Cedar is persona non grata to all of them is because, again, he is very knowledgeable and he cuts straight through their fucking bullshit. They don't want their grift and bullshit to be exposed, so they don't talk to Sam Cedar. But at the end of the day, even though all of this feels like petty drama, and it is to an extent, I do think that there's valuable lessons that we can all learn from this, right? One, never have any heroes. And also, you know, while liberals like Ethan Klein and Cenk and Anna could use their massive platforms to take on fascists, they've instead let their own personal grievances blind them from the things that really matter the most. And all of us should make sure that we never let ourselves fall that far and do things like that. You know, while they're caught up in their feelings, again, fascists are consolidating power as we speak and destroying democracy. While they're punching left, fascists are applauding them for doing that. Come on over to the good side, Ethan. And you know, there's nothing that we can do to change their minds, clearly, but we can use this as a lesson for ourselves to make sure that we always recenter conversations to what matters the most. This is what Hassan tried to do repeatedly in his conversations with Ethan Klein, and he would remind them that their disagreements or Ethan's feelings shouldn't overshadow the genocide that's taking place. And Ethan actually mocked Hassan Piker for trying to recenter the conversation around genocide in his content nuke. I'll repeat that. Ethan Klein made fun of Hassan Piker for trying to recenter the conversation on the thing that matters the most. But that is exactly what he should be doing. And it demonstrates why Hassan Piker is a valuable voice in the space who deserves to be defended from Ethan Klein's bad faith and petty attacks. So let this be a warning to you all. In times like this, it is so important to let go of your ego and be introspective and be open to constructive criticism, especially if they come from friends, and be able to adapt and recalibrate from time to time if your focus isn't lining up with the things that matter the most. We are all human beings, so we're all susceptible to pettiness and being drama queens, and we all engage in infighting. But at the end of the day, we need to remind ourselves that that doesn't matter, and we're not the main characters.
Take it B. Take it C. Eyes on enemy.
Ideas. 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 Recovery mode, my brain ideas.
We control zone C.
Recovery mode, my brain
Heads
ideas.
up. Hostile care package inbound. Semtex front. They're taking C. Losing Bravo. Hostile counter UAV established above. Take it out.
Oh my God!
Come on.
Kill them all, man.
It's the game! It sucks playing the shit! I'm getting addicted, so I can't quit!
Man, it doesn't matter if you 15. I like young girls. I like them 15, 14, 16. I like them real young. All the girls in the 20s, I'm cool with girls.
Oh my God! You subhuman! You drink! No one cares about burying you cancer piece!
Welcome back to the Papa Me channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down because today we're talking about one of the worst games to ever grace this planet. At least that's what people say. Dude, I still play it. We're talking about League of Legends. If you haven't heard of League, I mean, I don't know what kind of rock you've been under, but it's one of the biggest games on the planet. Still, League is, I would say, among online games, I think is regarded as the worst, like most toxic, worst game. Every time I've ever streamed League on Twitch, people always come in and they're always like,
Why are you playing this? Why? Oh, he plays League? Ew.
and they're playing like Genshin Impact or some shit.
I need to come
Are you kidding me? League is a bad game, but to really know why it's a bad game or why it's one of the most toxic games, you first have to understand the game. One of the reasons it's one of the most toxic and one of the worst games of all time is because it's a team-based game. And everyone has a role in this game. It goes top, middle, bottom, and jungle. ADC and support. In the game, you have an objective where you have to protect your lane. You have to push the lane, inevitably getting to a base that you explode. Not a terrorist act, just that's the objective of the game. But if you start losing your lane, people like to do a thing called griefing, raging, right? All kinds of things that are a result of never taking full accountability for themselves and blaming other people. Once again, that's just the online way. And the problem too with League is that the games typically take 35 to 45 minutes. I've been in a League game that was an hour and 10 minutes long. That was called hell. That was called pack it up. It's kind of, you know, that's the end of your night kind of game. And especially cute little anime characters running around saying one-liners. Another result of never taking full accountability for themselves and blaming other people. Once again, that's just the online way. And the problem too with League is that the games typically take 35 to 45 minutes. I've been in a League game that was an hour and 10 minutes long. That was called hell. That was called pack it up. It's kind of, you know, that's the end of your night kind of game. And especially cute little anime characters running around saying one-liners.
Another day, another slay.
You would want to ride the sewer slide. Huh? Harry, I did it. I put it into one. Thank you. But here rage is born. Pettiness, profanity, and violence can finally take shape.
It was at this time that I called this Malphite a fucking worthless, brain-dead scum bastard pile of trash, mental face that should be gunned down in the street like the degenerate he is.
It's funny because League has gotten so bad, they basically give you honor bonuses for not being mean to other people, such as their emblem Stay Cool, which was tilt-proof and chill. Great shot calling, leadership and strategy, and a nice GG because you're a friendly player to play with. There's no, that just pisses me off.
Well, some people use it to like passive aggressively say you were the worst on the team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just like any competitive online video game, once someone starts having a bad experience, they start raging. And League players are some of the worst at that. Tyler won. There's a lot. I was going to list off some more people, but a lot of them are just pedophiles. That's just, I was going to say, well, he's more of a pedophile. We'll get into it later, but there are a plethora of compilations of people raging on stream, and all of them are very funny. Here's a little montage right now.
Whatever you want, my God.
What is going on? Just get cancer and die from it. That's all I wish for these pedophile cancer patients in Game of